Welcome to the HR Empowerment Podcast, where we will uncover strategies and new insights from HR professionals who discuss up-to-date regulations, best practices, and the most pressing topics like diversity and equity, leadership, dealing with difficult situations, and much more that affect your bottom line and business. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back. It's Wendy Sellers, the HR lady. We are here with Dr. Lucille Maddalena talking about unleashing victory through precision coaching. Hi, Lucille.
Hello. How are you?
Good. Welcome back. Hey, I wanted to share something with our listeners, and then we are all ears. You shared with us that you were the first female executive coach at several organizations, right?
That's
and
right.
That you've had a lot of success and, of course, obstacles to overcome. So talk to us about, first of all, how did that go when you walked in and you're like, okay, I'm going to be the first female coach and y'all better listen to me. and tell us about the success stories too. Of course, no names.
Okay. Well, first of all, being the first of anything, it puts you on trial. And the first time that I was able to stand up and do a training program, management training, I created a program called Transition to Management while I was a graduate student. And the corporations loved it. So they bought it all over the world. And I coached, I trained 6,000 people globally.
Wow.
Yeah. In that program, it just hit the market right. And I was fortunate enough to have created it and I sold it and it was great. However, the first time I ran it, of course, the audience then was all young men, and I was a young woman, and it didn't start well. I had to deal with some of those issues that pop up in male-female relationships. But half an hour into the program, they started listening, and by lunch, it was a great program, and it just continued for many years. It was a way to really prepare to be a coach. Because when you're helping people understand their role and learning what their weaknesses are and what their strengths are and how they view themselves, it gets you ready to be a coach. It gets you ready to listen. It gives you a lot of war stories. So by going through training first and being a consultant, and one of the case studies in the book is when I was a consultant to a major firm, a small division of it, and it was a steel firm. They manufactured steel. They actually had those big ovens, and they melted steel, and it was a tough job. They had round the clock. The steel workers worked round the clock. Unfortunately, the leadership at the firm was ill and hid the illness and did not participate as leaders should because he was unable to. And so instead of getting someone to replace him, things sort of fell down. And then there was a labor crisis. And after that, the firm itself had major, major problems. So they asked me to come in and see what I could do to the firm. And like I said, it's in the book. And what happened was I did a complete reorganization of the company. And the way I did that has a lot to do with the fact that maybe there were only like 300 people left out of a 600-member firm. So it was about half the firm. But they were committed to that company because they knew back before all this happened, it was a great firm. And they wanted it to be a great firm again. So to do the reorg, I assigned them. I didn't bring in my team. I only brought in like 2 or 3 people occasionally. I had them do the reorg. I gave them the books. I taught them how to do it. I taught them how to work with each other and how to lead and how to stand up and say this is what's necessary and how to inspire others. And they did it. They reorganized that company. I gave them the tools, but they did it. And it made a major difference in the way they looked at their work and their life. And I was very proud of them for taking that risk because they didn't have to do it. They could have said, no, I'll go get a job someplace else because they were talented people. But instead they fought to rebuild and create a work environment that's successful. When the home office heard of it, and they heard of it because the income from the firm, the manufacturing, that everything had dropped off drastically. By the second year, we tripled income for that firm.
Whoa.
Production. So the major office came out, I flew out. They immediately offered me a job, which of course they didn't take because I love my work. and they just gave everyone accolades for getting this together and doing this. They did it, not me. They did it. I was the educator in the background. I was the person who gave them the information. They actually performed it. I was so proud of everyone there. It was a great opportunity.
Congratulations.
That's what coaching is all about, isn't it? It's getting to that point where you see someone benefiting from something you did. What's better?
Transition to management. The book offered invaluable insights for new leaders navigating their managerial role. One notable quote from the book is, quote, "The essence of successful management lies not just in directing others, but in understanding and harnessing the potential within your team," end quote. And that brings forward an amazing statistic as well, strong leadership. That correlates with improved organizational performance. A study by Harvard Business Review found that companies with high-quality leadership are 13 times more likely to outperform their competition in key metrics such as financial performance, customer satisfaction, and employee retention. Effective leaders drive strategic vision. They inspire their teams and foster a positive work culture. And that could all begin with a simple discussion with Dr. Lucille. Back to you.
Thanks, JC. And thanks, everybody, for listening to episode 3 of our 5-part series. We will be back to hear more from our amazing guests and talking more about unleashing victory through precision coaching. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for joining the HR Empowerment Podcast, brought to you by Aurora Training Advantage. We hope you've gained new insight and strategies to navigate the HR profession. We look forward to you joining us again on the HR Empowerment Podcast.